Welcome to Road Testament. I'm Mike Spinelli. I have JF Musial here.
Hey, Mike.
Not a lot of people know that JF and I used to do a morning radio show.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
That's right, Man Boobs and the Chimp on KOCK Radio in St. Louis. But now we're on @Drive on Twitter, where you can follow us, and also on Facebook.
Facebook.com/DriveTV.
Yeah.
Got that one right.
Exactly. So anyway, last show, Leo and I were on, and we talked about slow cars to drive fast. This week, we are going to flip it around and do fast cars to drive slow.
Okay.
And not really slow, but it's basically about the best fast cars, the best sort of high-end supercars or high-end sports cars, just fast stuff, not necessarily high-end, but you know, the Mustang GT could be in there. Anything over like 5 seconds to 60.
Okay.
Best,
under 5 seconds to 60.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, anything under 5 seconds to 60. Okay.
Thank you, JF. See, when we were on the radio together, you used to do that all the time.
On
KOCK Radio. But anyway, so before we do that, we wanted to get to a couple of comments from last show.
Awesome comments, Austin.
Because we had the best comments ever. I mean, that's the good thing about asking a good question.
They're getting better and better every week. Across Drive, we've built a huge community, and I'm loving these comments.
Yeah, and it's great. And I think we just need to, on Road Testament, need to ask really good questions and have you guys weigh in, because I think it's a really good way to go.
Yeah.
You've got a lot to say, and we don't.
Yeah, we honestly are.
No, I mean, we've got this much time to say stuff, and you guys have all week.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good. Also,
well, there were a few good comments, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you have any questions you want us to pose to our audience, tweet us or stuff.
That's a good way of technology.
Exactly. So we don't need to do all the work, you know.
Looks like.
Yeah. Anyway, so last week we asked the slow car fast question and got some great comments, but we also got some kind of off-the-wall comments, and we wanted to throw those out there. A couple having to do with minivans. And yeah, there's some fast, fun minivans.
Yeah. The fun fact about minivans is that I actually drive more minivans than I do any other car throughout the year, because every time I travel, I rent a minivan for our shoots. For every drive shoot we go on, we have a minivan. So I rent like somewhere in the range of 30 minivans a year.
Wow.
So I have an extensive experience of driving minivans on racetracks across this country. I've driven more minivans on racetracks than any other car.
Wow.
So
is that, you late braking or early braking?
Well, it's like lift off oversteer with a hint of understeer and then
lift off understeer.
So it's a lot of fun, and Nissan Quest, Town and Country, looking to buy them, I've got all the answers.
Wow, look at that. But so Bullet X357 says he owns a 1996 Dodge Grand Caravan. He cut the weight by taking the seats out, put in changed the intake, and chipped it.
Chipped a minivan, look at that.
And he's claiming 250 to 300 horsepower for that. So that's not actually a slow car anymore.
That's insanity.
That's kind of insane.
That's an awesome sleeper, though. That's a way to piss people off, but also have fun with your friends.
Exactly. And Periphery Me says he's got a 2005 Pontiac Montana SV6, the best slow car or van to drive fast in the world.
Okay.
Tried everything, off-roading, drifting, speeding, and it was amazingly fun to go fast. There you go.
Cool. All right.
So also, F1 McLaren MP426. MP426. Well, it's 26. It's 26. Whatever. 26.
That's a fun car
Sorry,
to drive.
McLaren. That would be a cool car, but he says nuclear bomb.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Mockingbirdie, though.
Mockingbird
Birdie with no R. Well, no, there's an R, but there's whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to read it off this thing. It's ridiculous. We'll probably end up putting it up here, or if not, then forget it. But really, the best slow car to drive fast is a rental car.
Agreed.
There you go.
Completely agree.
Okay. So, talking about fast cars to drive relatively slow.
What's your first choice?
I put the Corvette Z6 up there.
Interesting. Okay.
Right? So, the Corvette Z6 is a car that delivers a particular kind of experience, right? It sounds great. There's nothing like that V8 sound.
Especially if you pull the fuse.
Right.
And then anything under 3,500 RPM just sounds like
right. The valve opens up and you get full exhaust sound. So it sounds great. It's raw but not completely uncomfortable. And it's really torquey. So you can just bounce around town, corner to corner.
Yep.
And it's fun.
I do agree with you. That is a good car.
Right. It's not the kind of car that you necessarily would want to drive fast on. You can easily overdrive any road with it. I mean, it's a car you basically want to be on a racetrack with if you can handle it, because it is a little snappy.
Yep.
But what do you think?
I'm gonna agree with you, but I think it's even then you can get yourself in a lot of trouble, even at low speeds, because you think you're at low speeds, you turn that traction control off, and you'll loop it.
That's
a lot of torque.
Thinking you're going slower than you're actually going.
Yeah.
That was a Matt Farah rule. Like you know how good a car is by how fast you think you're going when you look down and how surprised you are
yes, exactly.
when you look at and see how fast you're actually going.
The perfect car I think gives you that is actually the Lotus Elise or Lotus Exige.
Okay, it's fast enough to be a fast car.
For example, in an Exige, you get in there, you feel like you're in like a Le Mans prototype because it's small, it's compact, the motor's right behind you, behind the firewall. And then you get on it, and you can start going through it, especially with those tires. You're slipping a lot at cold temperatures, and you're slipping a lot in the rain. So you can have your fun, and then look down. Oh, I'm not actually going that fast, but holy crap, I can actually kill someone.
Well, that's interesting because that is a fast car that has all the qualities of the slow cars that are fun to drive fast.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the kind of car that it needs to be in the proper environment to drive it fast.
Right.
But in most conditions, especially around New York City, it's never in the proper environment.
Right, right.
We had one 2 years ago, and when did we get it? When it was snowing.
That's true. I had that thing it wasn't a snowstorm, but we were driving around, and it was like there was like an inch of snow on the ground, and that's like any more than a dusting of snow. And Lotus Exige
you're completely effed. You're done.
Effed, yeah. Exactly.
And you want to know something? Fast cars slow.
All right, I'll give you that.
A lot of fun with that. What's your next on your list?
I put the Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. I know. All right, sorry. It's
two
first world problems. Yeah. But the main thing about the Superleggera is it's a car that it provides some race car feel.
Yeah. But
you could also throw some Blizzaks on or whatever the
and people have done this, and you can
and go and drive it up to go snowboarding because it does.
I know.
It does the all-wheel drive. See, that's the thing. Like, unlike the Lotus Elise, the all-wheel drive makes it a little bit more of a cold weather car. So there you go.
Yep. Okay.
It's a little bit of a
Okay. Well then,
those things.
My next car is going to be one which you completely hate if you think about practicality because it's the Morgan three-wheeler. So I had the lucky opportunity 3 weeks ago to actually drive one in the UK, and it was the most bizarre, unsafe, but frustrating experience I've ever had, but one which I will never forget in my entire life.
It looks like fun.
It is a lot of fun. First off, right-hand drive. Right-hand drive, I can deal with.
Yeah. I can't drive with my left. I honestly, I have to learn to shift my left hand.
It's not that bad, but then the problem is, especially inside the Morgan, on the right-hand side, the footwell is so tight that my 2 feet would cover 3 pedals at once.
Well, not all of us have size 15s. I mean, let's face it.
The Morgan three-wheeler is 140 horsepower S&S Harley Davidson motor. 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
Very torquey
yeah,
motorcycle.
4.5 seconds. Horrible turning radius. The fact that to turn the wheel, you have to have your right hand out of the car because there's not enough room in the cabin, and then you realize, oh crap, your elbow is 2 inches from the exhaust. So if you hit a bump, you got to make sure you raise your arm so it doesn't come down on the exhaust and burn yourself. But that said, driving that thing around with a windshield that big, no helmet on, and just being this little capsule, one with the car, and driving around as fast as you can on these small city streets, and you're still only doing 35 miles an hour.
Well, all right, so let's just put this out there, right? Yeah. This is a genre of fast cars to drive slow-ish.
Yeah.
Caterham falls into that also.
Yeah. But that's a very fast.
Oh, I know, but
capable of car.
Oh, exactly. All right, so
and the Morgan's fast, but not very capable. Because
that makes it more fun.
Well, for example, I was in Birmingham, and they have small circles, small like roundabouts.
Right.
3 times I had to stop reversed in the roundabout because the turning radius was so bad, and and everyone's looking at me like, "What are you doing?"
Reversing in a roundabout.
Because the turning radius was that
can't
bad.
Cover a roundabout.
And then everyone's laughing because they're looking at me as like, this idiot decided to buy this car. They didn't know it was a press car, and it cannot get around the.
And you were wearing a leather helmet. Also.
I was not wearing any helmet.
And you were wearing goggles?
Also the full, no, I was the full that wore no eye protection, anything. Getting rocks in the face. Oh, it was a horrible experience.
But
like I got out of that car and I was like covered in dust, and it was like I had my steering wheel in the hand because you could take the steering wheel off, and then it was like a sigh of relief.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
I'm alive.
That sounds awesome. I mean,
Yes.
it definitely sounds. So when I say the Mustang GT now, I'm gonna blow
full.
right through this because like, how do you can't really.
No, but the Mustang GT is a car you can have a lot of fun in.
That's the thing.
You're talking about the 5.0, right?
Yes.
The 5.0 is a great motor, the live axle.
400 plus horsepower.
Awesome,
now.
and you can buy them for like $32,000.
Right. And that's the thing where it's really, I mean, it handles well. It handles much better than a lot of people who are the IRS
they're very
mafia,
good.
Really
Very
would
good.
think. They actually handle really well for a car with an axle, a live axle. But it's also, it's about drag racing too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's
Light
face
to
it.
light action.
It's about light
and
to
in
light
Detroit,
stuff.
you've got plenty of lights that
Right.
no one gives a crap about.
So you're only driving slow if you average your speed throughout the whole day. So that's like driving slow. So you're fast to the stoplight, and then you kind of poke around and go to
totally
Chipotle
cool with
for a
Chipotle in a Mustang GT.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're
whatever.
that guy. Now.
I'm that guy. I'm going, yo, so you want to go to Chipotle? Chipotle?
I got my next car.
All right, you go ahead.
This is a very expensive car.
Okay.
But it is a car that I've never driven. I've sat in several times.
Okay.
But the experience of being in the cabin of this car is fantastic.
All right.
Spiker C8.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's a very fast car, of course.
Well, it's got the old 4.2 V8 from the Audi RS4. Great, beautiful interior. I think the interior of that car makes it a great experience because it's got the avionics.
It's got all the It's got all the
gear
old
shift, the lifted gear shift that you see mechanically, and then especially on the LM85 edition, I think I'm getting that right. They had the small window vents over the top, and it felt like an airplane.
That was cool. Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you look at all of the metal, the brushed aluminum and the polished aluminum, and all the way that the billet gear shift piece, you could see the linkage actually comes through the bottom.
Talking about an interior,
you can see all of the parts. It's really, really cool.
Interior.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Best interior, and better than, I'm going to say it, I think it's a better interior than the Pagani Huayra or the Koenigsegg or any of those.
It's definitely the most unique interior ever. I mean, it's like flying a 40s era aircraft.
Exactly.
I mean, the other thing about that is that that's part of the experience of that.
Bingo. I would drive that car 5 miles an hour around the city and just enjoy myself.
Would you call me? What the hell did you call me?
I would try.
Oh, bingo. Sorry, you called me bingo. That's all right. No,
I didn't say bingo.
You said bingo. You did. Forget it. All right.
Did I say bingo?
He said bingo, right?
I didn't say bingo.
Bingo. You pointed at me and you said bingo.
Okay.
It's like, what the hell are you talking about? No, I get it. All right.
No, okay. What's your final car?
I meant that to be a tossed-off joke.
Okay, it's okay. What's your next? Hold
on a second. No, so I'm going to go with Vantage V12, and the reason why is that it's not the fastest thing.
No.
But you got to have a V12 in here somewhere. You got to have the V12.
Because the Vantage V is actually a slow car.
Vantage V8 is, well, all right. I actually like driving the Vantage V8 a little bit more, so maybe I should. But I mean, since I'm going with a couple of poser vehicles here, I really like the Vantage V12.
You want to continue your trend of being a poster vehicle?
No, I'm gonna open myself up to some scrutiny.
Okay, all right.
Because it's not the fastest thing out there. It definitely is not the best cornering.
Especially the convertible is actually the one you should be talking about.
Well, yeah, but it does when you're in an Aston Martin. There is something about driving around in a jet black Vantage V12 that just makes you feel like a goddamn superhero.
More like a Coke dealer, but okay, close enough.
No, that's the Lambo.
Oh, okay.
No, but there is. I mean, like really like, and I wasn't going to clubs with last time. When I had I had a Vantage V12 for a while for a piece I was writing, and I just kind of just cruised around on a Sunday morning, feeling like I'm gonna save someone's life right now. I'm gonna like pull in and like stop a robbery, like take some bullets and like, you know, it was like, I mean, obviously take some bullets in my, I don't know what, titanium vest. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a 100% feel. It's very Bondish.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a poser thing to think about, but it does have the sound. It has the acceleration. It does corner relatively well. It does the steering.
Even at 30, 40 miles an hour?
It doesn't feel like much down there, but the steering is pretty good.
Okay.
And that's part of it. Really, like if a car's got good steering feel, which I'm getting to finally, the last car is just going to be all about steering feel.
Okay, what's your last car?
We're going to move right to that?
Go.
You don't want to have one in the middle?
No, I'm very interested because I don't have a fourth car. So go on with.
Oh, you're done? I mean, this is going to come off as real obvious.
What?
Porsche 911 GT3.
Yes.
So first of all, you've got the best steering feel in the entire auto industry on the planet right now. And of course, you know, this is still completely, isn't the new, the 911 has the new electronic steering.
The 991 GT3 is not out yet.
Which is really great and really reactive and works really well.
The new 911 is awesome.
It's just missing a little bit of feel, and I just, you know, I mean, I really like the old rack chatter and his having like, you know, being able to feel everything. But the GT3 steering, it feels, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's perfectly weighted. It's perfectly oriented.
One of the best. It is the best car on the
right.
planet.
It's a car that,
and every automotive journalist will say that.
Well, that's because it is, and really, it's a really fast car whose rear tires brake before the fronts, and you know, a lot of these real fast cars are tuned for understeer because it's safer, because you pull your foot off the gas and you don't spin. You know, there's no off throttle lift off. You.
Sorry.
Oversteer.
You hate me today.
No. I'm just no. It's fine. I think you're wrong
Morgan?
about the Morgan. I think the Morgan is more of a slow car.
Slow.
To drive fast. It's not that slow.
It's not. It's a fast car.
I just don't. Does it really do under 5 seconds to 60?
Yes,
it does?
Dude,
all right,
it weighs
it
weighs me plus seats. The motor.
But it doesn't. I don't think it's capable enough. I think the problem is that its capability is just under what it should be. And maybe it's a lot under. I don't even know. You've driven it.
I cannot wait until you drive.
I think it's a problem with capability. It might be a fun experience.
2 months they'll be here in the States.
All
2
right.
months.
And we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Just wait.
All right. So, anyway, you guys let us know what you think about fast cars to drive slow. Hit us up on @Drive on Twitter. And leave the comments, obviously, in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to Drive. And
the live stream.
Yes, there you go. You want to tell us about the live stream?
25 hours of 24 hours of Le Mans.
Yep.
In 2 days, Saturday, 8 a.m., right here on youtube.com/drive. The first ever YouTube 25-hour live stream.
We'll be here for 25 hours.
25 hours. Setting new records for YouTube. And motorsports, actually. First time motorsports is being...
So, but just to be clear, we're not broadcasting
the feed, but we have people on the ground shooting footage.
Yes. So it's extra stuff. So if you're watching it or listening to it on Le Mans Radio or something like that, bingo.
Yeah.
Again, you call me bingo.
Oh, I did do it.
Yeah, you see?
Okay, got it.
Then you can watch us, and we are just all about the extra cool content.
So we already have Alan McNish.
Yes.
Going to be on the show. We're also going to have a few other drivers. Doug Fian from Corvette Racing will be on.
Special guests of
these are a lot like the drive vibe and feel that you get from our normal programming, but live. Good job. But live. So, you know, Speed and all these other channels will do short, condensed interviews on the fly.
Yeah.
This is more our vibe and feel. That's the entire purpose of it.
So there's Leo Parente doing race analysis.
He'll be in that seat for 25 hours.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
That's it. Road Testament. Damn you, chimp! You're supposed to say, "Arr, man boobs." Wasn't that your? That was your tagline.
That was my
man boobs.